Tool's last full-length studio album came out 5 years ago, went to #2 in the Billboard charts and also sold 2 million copies. So when 5 years have passed and you've had that kind of success, there's a lot of anticipation, as you would expect, to their new album coming out. How do you pronounce the title of this new LP? How do you say it? Lateralis, is that right?
Lateralis.
Lateralis, right, yeah. Okay, so that's how it's pronounced. Yeah. Before we talk about the new album, everyone knows what Maynard was doing with A Perfect Circle. What were the other three members of Tool up to? You toured for about 2 years, then had 3 years off doing what?
Fighting with the record company.
You're known for hating the business side of the music business. I mean, did that really get in the way with being creative with Tool? Was all of your time taken up with trying to get out of that deal, sorting stuff out?
It was kind of hard to keep being creative, yeah, it kind of grated a bit. And we had to kind of get through that a little bit before we could really get back to, you know, the creative process.
What kind of state of mind do you have to be in when you're thinking it's been 5 years, we sold 2 million copies, now we've got to follow that up?
Yeah, those kind of thoughts we're not really too worried about. We're definitely our own worst critics, and we just try to go into our rehearsal space and be true to the chemistry that happens between the four of us when we get together in a room together with some noise-making instruments.
When you're actually writing stuff, do you put aside a lot of material because you'll think like, this isn't epic enough, this isn't big enough, you know, we've got to make it more Tool, we've got to have more longer songs, there's got to be more complexity to it?
Nah, not really. I mean, the songs, the way we write them, they get to a certain point and then they sort of just take on a life of their own, and we just try to be true to that and let them develop the way they need to develop. You know, there's never too much forethought put into each one individually. You know, we're in a fortunate position where we can let things run their course and we don't have to worry about, you know, selling, you know, singles or anything like that. We're an album band.
The business side of things, which you always say that you hate and you don't like dealing with, you seem to be very good at manipulating the business to your own ends, though, because you're very good at building up anticipation for the albums. You've got a reputation for cancelling interviews at the last minute, not wanting to do interviews, stuff like that. Would you say you're a hard band to deal with? Is that true?
No, not at all. Not if people want to find out about what we're doing. You know, music and the art that we present, we're ready to share it with as many people as we possibly can. It's just when people try to, you know, present the personalities or our personal lives first, then I think it just gets kind of irrelevant, because that's not what we're about. We're here to share our art with people, not so much share ourselves with people, you know, and it's a bit of a conflict at times.
In terms of this new album coming out now, is it going to be a breath of fresh air for all the people that are getting fed up with the whole Limp Bizkits and the Papa Roaches of this world?
It'll be a breath of fresh air for the Tool fans, that's for sure. But you know, they kind of know what to expect. They've seen how we've evolved from each record, and it's sort of a continuation of that process. But I mean, we're hoping to scoop in as many new people as we can and hope they'll embrace it, but you never know what's going to happen until it gets out there and we get the response.
And people are still interested because it is promising to be different, you know, and that's what we've been trying to do while creating it.
And when you put together this album, the band as a complete unit has complete control over what they do, what they don't want to do. And as you say, we don't know you as people that well, but what are the personalities like in the studio or in the writing process? Do you conflict? Is it evenly spread out, you know, in terms of putting together new music?
There's a lot of mutual respect between each of us, but we do conflict definitely as well, you know. It's definitely a democracy, but sometimes you do butt heads a lot, and, you know, take a few weeks to get over it and then get back to what's, you know, really working.
And in terms of all the internet rumours and stuff like that, remaining so elusive as you know, you obviously make an effort to do you go into the fan sites and read stuff?
Yeah, it's kind of fun. Every once in a while I'll go into the chat room and rap with a few people. Usually I do it under another name. That's probably the best part about the internet, you know, I think, is just to be able to contact your fans in that way, you know. But you have to be careful just because you can get caught up in that and end up wasting a lot of time. I mean, what you really need to be doing always is focusing on the art and your musical ideas you want to get across, because that's what the fans are there for in the first place.
Have you ever been into one of those chat sites, either of you, and one of the fans has fathomed out that they are actually talking to a member of Tool? Has that ever happened?
Well, actually, most of the time they don't believe it when you go
Yeah, they're always so skeptical.
Yeah.
Does it matter to you as people how commercially successful this album is?
Not so much at this point. Like I said, we want to share it with everyone, but you know, we're happy we made a good record, and it'll have to take on a life of its own now. And
yeah, you pretty much have to let that go, you know.
And as far as the touring is concerned, you're playing some dates in the UK's Brixton shows, and also you're doing the Ozfest as well.
Yeah, we're doing these like few dates around for the next month or so, well, starting in May, and kind of as a primer in a way, we hope, and then we want to come back later on in the year and maybe do a proper tour, like in our own pick of venues, rather than doing so many festivals and things where we can really take over the environment and put on a show that we believe in.
Yeah. And have complete control, as is the Tool way.
Yeah.
Well, I know you don't like doing TV interviews, so it's been good to talk to you today.
Hi.
Thanks for your time.
Thank you very much.
Cheers.